How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. We're so happy to finally get you on. We've had a bunch of good conversations, good dinners. Now here we are. We get to talk about the business here. We get to talk about The Chosen because we're excited about that when it goes on the big screen. And you already got to see it on the big screen. So tell us what we're getting into because man, the show just keeps going and going and getting bigger.
Yeah, it's very exciting to be a part of it. I mean, it came out of nowhere for me. I knew I had heard somewhat about it. It was sort of the momentum was building, but that was I think 6, 7 months ago when we shot it. By now, it's kind of everywhere, all over the media, and people are, Lionsgate picked it up for worldwide distribution. Uh, it's going to be on streaming on several stations. I know the CW, I think, has picked it up. I don't know, does Netflix have it? I'm not sure. But it's coming on, and it's coming into theaters February 1st, which I think they may have done that as well last year. But I think the audiences have grown exponentially. So it's a phenomenon. What Dallas Jenkins has created and what he's done. The cast is great. Story doesn't get better, So it's an incredible feat that he's taken on, and it's snowballing.
Yeah. Well, and your character, King Herod, of course, that's a pretty juicy character to play. But historically, oh my gosh, I mean, there's a lot of people that are like, oh no, they know that name's coming, right?
Yeah, he wasn't a very pleasant man, from what I understand him. And there was several incarnations of, well, generations of the King Herod. There was his father or whatever, but I think this guy was pretty brutal. I think he killed off his brothers, and uh, I think he was responsible for all the kids to be killed under 2 years old. And but he was an architectural genius. There's he helped construct these massive city constructions and things. So he had a good side, but not much. He was a bad guy. But the famous story is that was in the episode that I think that you'll see in. I think the first episode is when Salome dances for him.
Mm-hmm.
His wife's Herodias' daughter. She dances for him and requests an unspeakable act in his ear that he has to then, you know, deliver. So that was the one scene I think you'll see in the first episode. Then I don't appear until many episodes later in the fourth season, and then I'm hoping to see if I arrive in fifth season. We'll see. They're shooting that soon, in a couple of months.
Yeah, and what a production too. And you got to come to Texas and see it all go down. These are not digital extras, as we discussed. They've got just about everybody out there. It's wild.
The most amazing stories. They did this. I guess the feeding of the 5,000, is it in the Bible? Three. I think it's 5,000, and people came from all over the world to be in this scene, in this episode.
Mhm.
And they had concerts, they had tents for all these people. It was like a massive, like Woodstock type thing. Thousands of people showed up to support the show. And I heard, it's been a while since I heard the stories, but it's an incredible thing. People came and flew themselves to be part of this show. I mean, these people who have such strong faith and wanted to support it. It's an incredible story. They really, I think they actually had 10,000 or 12,000 people show up. So the different days that they shot, they rotated and flipped people around so people could all be involved.
Mhm.
Incredible time.
Wow.
So the
And
show's
then
doing great. I'm so happy, and it's the first time I shaved my head completely bald. I was like this, you know, not much difference from what's there, but I did take off the rest of it, and that was an exciting look for me for a while. And I got these lots of bling and earrings and bracelets and robes and crowns and things. It was definitely a fun costume situation. Yeah.
yeah, and definitely cool to see it on the big screen. That premiere looked like it was something else. As they had the whole cast turn out and just what a special crew of people.
Yeah, it's a great, very special group. Yeah, and you feel the energy when you're there. Very spiritual, very loving, very warm, receptive crew, cast and crew. It was amazing. It's beautiful. The
Yeah.
work was great. Cast wonderful performances all around.
Ah, I love that. Well, of course, it's always special to see yourself on the big screen. Do you remember that first time that you saw yourself up on the screen and got, see, this is good. This doing the right
Uh,
thing.
when I think you're making me think around the body parts time, early '90s.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
did a movie with Jeff Fahey, and I think I saw that on the big screen. Was that before True Romance? But I had this big scene, big couple of big juicy scenes in this movie, Body Parts.
Yeah.
Good movie, cool movie, and I think that might have been one of the first times. Definitely one of the first. True Romance was early '90s, I think, as well. I think I'm not sure, but I think Body Parts. Yeah, I had a bunch of
Yeah.
friends there. They applauded. I was like, shut up at your. I think I ran out embarrassed. So,
Yeah.
but lots of TV before that. Yeah.
Well, it is a special thing because there's still always going to be people that look up on that screen and go, yeah, see, that's what I want to do. And I'm sure there are people in the audience at the chosen premiere that are thinking that too. And it's so much harder than people can imagine. So, what kind of advice do you give to people? Because you've been doing this a long time and been doing it well.
Advice to who? To the
To actors that want to do what you do.
find something else.
It's competition. Go away.
Do something else. Just go. Just do. Well, what I tell people is something that's so much easier today than when I started out is make a movie. Make movies, make shorts, make a feature if you could. You could do it on this little device, this little
Mhm.
iPhone. Today, people doing it and get with a couple of folks, couple of friends, write something, write it again, write it again, write it again, write it 50 times, and only ask for criticism. Do not ask for how good it is.
Mhm.
Writers are terrible. They just want to hear how great it is. They just want to hear, isn't this, what do you think? Well, I think you should change this. No, I'm not going to do that. That really works. Well, then you should only get critique if you're a writer, I think. Well, no, you want to say what's working as well. So you know, not only critique. I shouldn't say I'm being a little tough on everybody, including myself, because I've written
Yeah.
some stuff. But you should get critique. And you don't have to listen to it, but get a lot of criticism. I heard that in a seminar once by one of the top showrunners in town. I forgot who it was actually, but she was like, "Ask your people, writers, to be brutally, brutally honest,
Mm.
critical, and then
Yeah.
that's how you get. That's how it gets better." You know, because and ask people who know something or who you feel know something. It doesn't have to be a professional in the business. It could be. I know I'm doing a voiceover. I'm doing the show. I was on the show Everybody Hates Chris a few years ago,
Yeah. Hmm.
and they're animating it now. So I'm in the booth animating my character, which is a blast. So more fun than anything. Um, and anyway, the showrunner Sanjay, he was saying the other day, he said, "Yeah, I asked my daughter, does this work? Is this funny? How do you like it better without the mustache or whatever?" And he's asking her all kinds of questions to confirm what works. So yeah,
I
yep.
love it. You
Another
know,
story. Here's a little anecdote
yes.
of totally something like has nothing to do with anything. But I was on doing Tombstone 100 years
Hmm.
ago, right?
Yeah.
The Western, and uh, oh shit, Goldie Hawn and Lee, the star of the movie.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt
Yeah.
Russell sits down. We're having lunch, and he was being really nice. I was sort of younger, starting out. And he was being very supportive and great. Tells me the story. They're watching a movie. He's 7 years old with Walt Disney. Walt says,
Mhm.
"Come here, kid." He was a young star, I guess a child star. "Come here, I want you to tell me what you think of this movie." And he says, "Well, I think the ending should be more like this." Says, okay. And he changed it. It was Mary Poppins, I believe.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a good story. Like he had, he had to do, well, I like it better this way or that way. I forget exactly the detail, but I believe Kurt Russell was instrumental in deciding, which way the end of Mary Poppins should go, to the left, or the right. Yeah. Anyway, totally off the record story.
No,
But I think
well,
how
people
who
people people love hearing about some of the great films you've been involved in. Of course, Tombstone, True Romance. There's
yeah,
so many of them that people ask you about. I'm sure. But what's the one that just keeps coming up that people just would want to know about over and over again?
mostly The Wire. Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
that's had its place in my life, my career, if you will. Yeah, that's been the most monumental,
Hmm.
you know, piece that thrilled to be a part of that. It's a very special time, and I still can't believe it sometimes, like because when you're shooting it, you don't know if it's gonna come out. You don't know anything, and it's been a slow build over the years, and it still remains. There's new viewership every year, new fans, if you want to call them, every year watching that show. It's great. It's like a new show every year. It's great. People are
Yeah.
rewatching it.
Yeah.
That's the
Brilliant.
biggie. Yeah, definitely. The Wire, Entourage would be the second one. Also super popular character, and then just other bunch of other stuff.
I love it. Well, you're probably familiar with my co-host Drew Pearson, one of our Dallas Cowboys greats.
Yeah.
Caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame, and then of course we got to ask you that Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just kind of had to go for it and it worked out for you. So, what do you suppose that was for you? You probably had a few.
So what's the question? The Hail Mary moment, like when I
Yes,
did.
that's that moment where you just kind of back was up against the wall and you just decide, all right, here we go, we're gonna do this, and you threw it or
Well,
caught
I had a few of those.
it.
Um, I guess I don't know if it was career changing, but it was a successful movie called House Guest
Mhm.
with Sinbad and Phil Hartman, rest in peace, and lots of wonderful actors. Uh, so I don't know if I've told this. Maybe I have. So I'm doing the audition. I mean,
Mhm.
this is one of a handful of nutty things I've done, but this was so I'm doing the audition and I'm reading with the big guy. I was my partner in that. Got his name as well. He passed a few years ago. He was an ex football player. I'm terrible when
Yeah,
on
no,
camera.
it's a
I need cheat sheets for everything. I need cue cards.
I don't remember what I ate
Yeah.
yesterday, so you're doing
Anyway,
great.
so we were working. We were reading together. I think we were matching up, mix and matching. He's a big guy, and I was bumping up against his belly and doing some stuff. And they said, "Okay, thank you very much." And I leave the room. The next guy comes in to read with the big guy because I think he was already established and going to be cast. And I go out in the hallway, and about maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds goes by, not a lot. But the other guy, he was being interviewed. He was going to start his scene. And I run in, I grab that actor.
Mhm.
I say, sorry, 1 second. And I pushed him out of the room because I wasn't done. I
Yeah.
wasn't finished. So I wouldn't really I wasn't violent. I said, excuse me, I got to do something. Could you just come back in a minute? I opened the door for him. And I literally ushered him out the door gently, but assertively, and I wasn't done because there was something else I wanted to do. And I dashed in. I mean, I would never do that today. I was a little nutty back then. And, but I did a lot of stuff like that back then. And then later over time, the producer and director said to me, we knew right when you did that you were the guy. Because I was a pushy little fucker in the character was a little pushy little son of a bitch. So they went, yes, they thought it was the funniest thing. I feel bad for the other actor. I don't remember who it was, but yeah. So that was one thing. I mean, but sort of a Hail Mary. I'll probably remember something better when I don't know. I'm still
That's
waiting to throw that. I'm still waiting for that Hail Mary, but that was one of them.
Oh, that's good. I love that. Well, part of that is that mindset that you have to have, and we talk about that on the show, that success mindset, that that kind of determination, or
Yeah.
maybe crazy, whatever it is that kind of keeps you on that right path. Is there something you tell yourself, or keep in mind that kind of always keeps you on that right path?
No, it's just my instincts. Uh, it's just instinct to sort of be a little daring. I don't know. It's something in my gut that just says, try, just go there, try this. Like, it's not in my head. It's really something that I'm just feeling something in the moment. And I usually try to stay in that place, that sort of instinctive, um, somewhat spontaneous place. I try to, I think that's where I'm comfortable, just trying to capture that piece of air that's not really,
Mhm.
that sort of capture that, you just unzip and you get in this place and you just kind of, I don't know, I can't really explain it, but yeah, it's just instinctual, being that kind of, having that kind of approach, that kind of, but yeah, and it makes it enjoyable for me. And when I'm not in that place, and I've had a few jobs where I'm not, and it stays with me forever. Oh, you could have done oh, you should have done. I'm still this, like yesterday, I was replaying stuff that I didn't do. One was a movie recently. I don't want to talk about it because it's not out yet. But I didn't do
Mhm.
what I wanted to do there. And you're still working on stuff. I'm sure I'm not the only actor, but something was from like a few years ago. Oh man, what if you'd have done that? What if you'd done that? And I'm still running scenes from the past, which is somewhat fun. It's like a creative thing to just like, it's all music to me in a way. How could you have played that solo on your guitar a few years ago? I might have done it a little different if I'd approached it today. You know what I mean? It's very
Oh
much
yeah.
like jamming in a band.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more people that can relate to that, because there's plenty of us that go back and think, oh, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do that better? But not a lot of people will admit to it. So that's good.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of things. Yesterday, what was this show? There was a scene. I was like, man, what if? And I don't even try to. All of a sudden, I'm drifting along. I might be driving or whatever, cooking, whatever, and I'm like, go back to this scene. And I start playing it in my head, talking to myself. My wife sometimes goes, "What are you saying? Who are you talking to? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing right now?" you know, I did nothing. I'm just running something. Well, what? What? What are you doing?
Like, don't worry, I'm not possessed. It's okay.
Oh
Oh, that's
man, yeah. It's
what.
not. Yeah, it's not always the healthiest thing, but I do it. I do run. You
Yeah,
know, stuff.
absolutely. Well, speaking of which, I mean, I know there's always lines running in your head because you always have so much coming up, and so I know there's only so much you could talk about. But what do you have coming up that we should know
Oh,
about?
it's been a busy, good time. I had, I did a movie called Rosario in Colombia about a month ago. Just toward, a couple of movies that got, um, permitted to shoot during the strike. What's it called? They had the interim agreements. That was one interesting little thriller that'll be out at some point. It was a lot of fun. It's a cool movie, good cast. And then I did Killing Castro after that, where I played Sam Giancana. Great scene
Yeah.
with Al Pacino. Uh, Great scene with Al Pacino, and yeah, it was something I wanted to do and I didn't do it. It was one of the scenes I've been running in my head. I got some of it, but I could have used another couple of takes. Oh yeah, that would have been really good. But anyway, it's great to work with him again. Had a little scene with him in The Irishman, so that was wonderful. We talked all about a lot of his plays that he'd done because I'd seen a lot of them, and he was like, "Oh, you saw that? Yeah, no." was telling me about different things that happened during American Buffalo that I saw him do back in the 70s, and then told me some great stuff. Anyway, and then that's happening, and then I'm joining the cast of the Kristen Bell show, a new comedy for Netflix. It's called the Untitled Aaron Foster Project. So
Yeah.
that's a comedy for Netflix, starring Kristen Bell and Adam Brody.
Yeah.
They're an unlikely couple that get together. He's a rabbi and she's a very Gentile woman, and somehow their paths cross, and there's a little sparks that fly, and we see what happens. I'm playing his dad. I'm playing Adam's dad.
Oh, that's great.
That's starting next week.
Good.
With wonderful cast of characters. And I have 2 episodes of Dara from Detroit. Should I just go through the whole ground?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you got, let's hear it.
Dara from Detroit. Really cool little indie series that's going to come out on the BET network, playing a Greek mobster. So they kind of were asked me to sort of revive my Spiros Vandas character from The Wire. They were, they were fans of that show. So, let's get Paul to do that. And that was great. We did 2 episodes. Really bizarre ending of that. I won't see what happens, but really interesting story there. And then so Everybody Hates Chris. This is something else. Aaron Foster. Oh, you know what I'm doing? It's really cool. I'm doing I don't know, can I talk? Can I say? Because sometimes they don't like it announced before it's.
Yeah.
But I'll just say it's a movie directed by Mel Gibson.
Oh, great.
And I have a very interesting role in that. I'll just say that. Interesting supporting type character in that. I think I don't know. There's always a couple of other items.
Oh, of course. Well, there's always time to talk to you about those when they get a little bit closer.
Yeah,
it's nice
let's
to have
do
just
that. That's great.
Little sampling of what's going on.
Yeah. But I'm very, very grateful. I have to say, when these things come in and get a call out of left field and here and there, and I'm grateful that just whatever has happened, I sort of keep busy. It's nice to just keep the fires going in the kitchen, as it were. Keep serving those meals. Some of them are bigger roles, some of them are really smaller. But I'm very, very excited this time in my life now that there's all kind. Like I said, voiceovers, and I just finished a podcast with this wonderful guy. I forgot about that. Just as a podcast I did. It's a podcast I'm actually working on for myself.
Good.
From a play that I co-wrote with my mom, who's a playwright. We're trying to get that off the ground. That's an exciting piece. But anyway, again, we could talk more about these things when they're current.
Well,
I love hanging out with you, Paul. I'll talk to you anytime.
I appreciate that.
Great to hang out with you.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you, and you always have something exciting going on. That's a big blessing right there. But for now, we're going to tell people to watch the big blessing and the big screen. We're going to tell them to see The Chosen on the
Chosen, February 1st. It's in theaters everywhere. I guess I'm not sure where they look in your local theater.
I'll be there.
Guide and see where it's playing. But that's going to be a big deal. Yeah, it's very exciting to be part of that.